Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to THFE Productions. We're going to be covering some more Destiny news. So this is going to be picking apart a bit of the scattered news that we've been hearing. So Bungie Day passed recently and they gave us another look at what we saw at E3 but with some commentary, and there's a bit more insight this time. So we learned about a couple more things. Basically they talked about how there was real-time lighting. I mean, that's obvious. How there's dynamic water reflections and splashing, a lot of stuff to bring immersion. Birds will react when you walk by, you can shoot at them and they'll fly off, and there's all sorts of things to bring you into the world, make you feel like you actually have an effect. Combine that with the speed tree that I talked about, the technology to bring all the trees that react dynamically to the environment. Then also the way they have the occlusion that allows stuff that's not in the player's field of vision to not be rendered. And so what that means is the engine can handle a lot more and have bigger worlds. Then another article states that they're cramming as much as possible into the PS4. It's new technology for them, so it'll take a while for them to be able to squeeze as much juice out of it as possible. Obviously new games will be better, but they've said so far that PS4 with its improved processing power, memory and all that stuff is able to take a lot more out of Destiny than the Xbox One. I'm sure the Xbox One has similar graphics, but I think the PS4 will step it up a bit more. Also in the video, what they mentioned is you can earn, purchase, trade, and gamble to get gear. So, before we've seen that, yes, you can earn the gear, so that'll happen in loot, going to various places, and it's interesting that you can also purchase gear. Now, I'd imagine you can go to shops at the tower, and maybe even in other places around the world you can go and buy, I'm assuming, basic weapons, and maybe they'll have some unique exotic weapons that you can only buy in certain places but that are super expensive. That just goes to the fact that I think you're going to be dealing in Glimmer, which I believe is the currency, so you're going to have to, get money and stuff like that and buy these weapons and purchase equipment, all sorts of stuff like that. Additionally, you can trade items. So that's probably going to be with other players, which is going to be very dynamic, very cool, especially if you find loot, for example, and you're a hunter that's more suited to a Titan. Well, then you can trade it to a Titan who might have something that's more suited for you. Trade gear between your friends, maybe get more specialized gear. If you're going on some sort of raid with your friends and you need to specify, give some guy as much, make him the tank, so all of you can kind of trade him the more tank centered gear, give him more armor and stuff like that. So that's going to be a cool way to make your unit more effective, and it might even carry through in the multiplayer. I think they haven't mentioned much about that, but when it's player versus player, I'm sure you can trade your weapons and do stuff like that. Also, what they mentioned is gamble, so that might mean there are mini games within the game. Maybe it's some sort of slot machine or some sort of card game. I'm not sure how that works, but it's cool that there's going to be a variety of ways for you to earn and get these weapons. Next in the video, they talked about how what they referred to them was player super abilities, and that's essentially the abilities of the various classes where they have a cooldown. So for example, the Warlock has the Nova Bomb, and I'm sure you can change these up by getting different, as you see here, the different patterns that's part of your equipment. So I think that affects what your ability is. But anyway, the Nova Bomb for the Warlock is where they jump up in the air and shoot out that beam of energy. Then the Hunter, what they called it was the golden gun, essentially, where it flames up and then all of a sudden it does massive damage, as we saw in the Law of the Jungle trailer. Then also, they talked about individual loot streams. That's something we knew about. So basically what that means is when you take out a boss or something like that, you can't have one person who gobbles up all the loot. The loot will appear differently on each person's screen, so you'll have fair access to the loot. Now, the bulk of this, what we're getting to, is this part where they mentioned the wall. The wall is where, in Russia, we went and visited in the demo. We didn't really know the context of it, but in this video, what they mentioned is the wall was a means to protect colony ships, and they stopped at that. So if you look at this video right here, you can see the structures in the background, sort of the bulbous shapes at the top. Those are actually the support structures, and then on the side would be the colony ships. Now, this figures into the lore, and they said they wouldn't talk more about it, but I think it plays into the larger narrative of the game in terms of maybe the early history. I think, what we know is the Traveler came into the solar system, and it imbued life in the different planets. I talked about that in the terraforming video, and it led to a human golden age. Now, during that time, I think that's when humanity developed these colony ships, sent them out, to Mars, to Jupiter, to Venus, to the moon, sent out all these colony ships in various places. But what's interesting, when they mentioned the wall was built as a means to protect colony ships, so that would lead to imply that humans were still trying to colonize places while they were under attack. So were they under attack by native humans, people who wanted to stop, maybe Russians from colonizing different parts of the world, or was that wall meant to protect the aliens who are attacking humanity currently? Now the question is, at that point, if humanity is already under attack, why would mankind be sending out colony ships when in fact we know that all the various human colonies abroad were taken out? So what is the significance of that, I wonder? Also, I'll let you guys mull on that and post in the comments what you think. Why are these colony ships here? Why are they defended by a wall? What do you think the story is about that? Anyways, also, take a look at these old images here that we talked about before. This may have a particular relevance. Here we can see these large obsidian pyramid ships. Not much details in that, but these may be alien colony ships. And what I think is, look at the structure of these, look how they're designed. And now let's look at another image. This is called the Bridge of Chains. Now you see the color and the architecture is pretty similar, and so what we're led to believe, I think, is these might be colony ships similarly, but for the aliens. So like during the Golden Age, what I think happened is humanity went to colonize these various places, but then the aliens had their own colonizing ships, these large, it looks like, I don't know what these are, but these large vessels to carry their own colonies. So it seems like the various races are competing to colonize the solar system. Humanity hiding behind the wall, trying to colonize it from there. And then you see these vessels here that I believe are aboard the obsidian ships that are now going to counter colonize the various places that humanity used to take up. Anyways, thanks so much for tuning in. I'm glad I could bring this news to you. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time. Let me know what you want to cover. I'll keep covering Destiny news, Rome 2 news, and whatever else. We also have a couple other projects we're working on. Thanks so much. See you guys next time.